Are you serious? Are you serious? We got breaking news. Breaking news out of Syria, Damascus, Syria. President Bashar Assad's motorcade has been hit, or at least some reports are it has been hit. We have other reports conflicting saying no, it has not been hit, but that President Assad was in prayer when the area close to him was hit. Let me give you both reports. Of course, a civil war is going on there, and the propaganda machines are in full swing, spinning both sides of the story. Get a cup of coffee, get a Bible, because the destruction of Damascus is inevitable, according to the prophetic word of God in Isaiah 17, verse 1, and Jeremiah chapter 49, verses 23 through 27. Let me give you the reports. Here we go. Syrian rebels claimed the attack on Assad's motorcade. State television broadcast footage of President unharmed. Motor rounds on Thursday, today, August the 8th, 2013, hit an upscale district in Damascus where President Bashar Assad was attending prayers to mark the start of the major Muslim holiday in a rare attack in the very high security area. A Syrian rebel brigade claimed it fired mortar shells that hit Assad's motorcade in the Maliki district of the capital of Damascus. But Syrian state TV broadcast images of the Syrian leader attending prayers, and the information minister denies any reports that the president had been attacked. An Islamic rebel brigade, Lawara Tahara al-Sham, said it fired several 120 millimeter shells into the direction of Assad's motorcade after carrying out careful surveillance of its route. Now, I do have pictures released by Syrian television and was posted on Yahoo News of Assad in prayer. Now, I don't know if that was this morning, but they are reporting that it was, and that this was President Assad in a mosque in prayer. The reports are that while he was in this mosque in prayer, that his motorcade sitting outside the mosque was fired upon and was hit by the Muslim Brotherhood, the radical Islamists that are trying to overthrow the Assad regime. So, having said that, let me give you some more reports coming in. Also, the claim was made on the group's Facebook page and Twitter pages and could not be independently confirmed. The brigade's head was saying that also reported to Al Arabiya TV that the motorcade had been hit, but it was not certain whether Assad himself had been harmed. Assad has a residence in the upscale district that has largely been sheltered from the shellings and the blasts and the battles that usually rage in the city's impoverished suburbs of Damascus. However, it was not clear if Assad has stayed in Maliki in recent months. So information ministers dismissed the attack, of course, claiming that they're just rumors, and as they told state-run Syrian TV, that Assad had drove his own car to the mosque located there and for prayer. So there is, usually where there's smoke, there's fire. It sounds like what's happened is Assad motorcade has been fired on, but that he probably was already inside the mosque and thus was not hurt. I doubt very seriously. I don't believe Syrian TV for 1 second that Assad drove his own car to the mosque and leisurely strolled in for prayer. You and I and everybody on the planet knows that's not going to happen. Every president of every head of state is under constant security with their own limos and motorcades. And the other thing is, you certainly wouldn't do that in a war that's been raging in over 2.5 years, and 100,000 people are dead. But there is other information. Let me read to you also That was CBC News. Also, I have information from, let's talk about the Yahoo News report. Okay. Syrian rebels said that they fired rockets and mortar rounds on Thursday that hit the upscale district of Damascus, where President Assad was attending prayers to mark the start of the major Muslim holiday, in a rare attack in the high security area. That alone is true. We know the rebels got in there and was able to fire several mortars into the very secure area, getting very close to Assad. We don't have any reports that Assad was hit. We do have conflicting reports whether or not his motorcade was hit. But we are hearing that Assad was in prayers. This ain't Friday, but he was in the mosque in prayers and was not hurt. Well, we have Fox News reporting, and I have a picture here of Assad walking with several army soldiers and personnel. But this picture was taken before today. Now, here's what we have. The Fox News is reporting that the Syrian government Thursday denies a claim by the rebels that President Assad's motorcade was attacked in Damascus. Syrian state TV broadcasts images of Assad attending prayers, which I've already showed you those pictures, in the capital to mark the start of the 3-day Muslim holiday during the holy month of Ramadan. Now, in the state TV broadcast, Assad is dressed in a suit, was seen praying in the mosque alongside Syrian guards there in the mosque in Damascus. It was the Syrian leader's third public appearance in over a week, as his regime tries to capitalize on recent gains in the battlefield. But as they are trying to put down the rebels fighting to oust him from power, Sky News reported that the video distributed by Tara al-Sham rebels shows smoke rising from what is said to be the Maliki district, where Mr. Assad and his close aides have homes. The group's leaders said the fighters had carried out the reconnaissance of the route of the president's motorcade and fired 120 millimeter artillery towards the convoy. The attack rattled the regime. Even if Assad was not hit, it's reported, Reuters from an undisclosed location in the capital. So Reuters is hearing that the motorcade was hit, but Assad was not hurt. Obviously, there's something took place. No doubt they fired mortars. They may have hit his motorcade. They haven't hit the president, Assad. He was in the mosque praying. But it sounds as if his motorcade was hit, although Assad was already in the mosque praying. We have no other reports. We have not seen Assad live since this attack, other than the pictures of him praying in a mosque, and we're not sure when those pictures were taken. Now let me give you some information as it relates to Bible prophecy on this very subject. Of course, Isaiah prophesied a lot of things in his prophecies, many of which have come true, including the coming Messiah and the fact that he would be whipped and beaten and crucified for the sins of the world. But also Isaiah prophesied about a pole shift, a flip of the earth in Isaiah 24, the apocalyptic sounds that people are hearing, and the booming sounds from the pits, from the earth that people are hearing. But also it prophesied of the destruction of Damascus, as well as the collapsing of the governments of Egypt, and the fierce king, the cruel Lord, and the infighting going on, which is taking place right now. Here's what Isaiah said in Isaiah 17, verse 1. The burden of Damascus, behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city. It shall be a ruinous heap. Well, we know that has not fully taken place. Yes, Damascus is in bad shape. Yes, it's not functioning as a real city right now, but it's not fully in a ruinous heap. But Jeremiah, in chapter 49, the prophet Jeremiah explains how that will happen in detail. Let me get some more coffee. Concerning Damascus, let me read to you Jeremiah 49, verses 23 through 27. Concerning Damascus, Hamath is confounded, and Arpad, for they have heard evil tidings. They are faint-hearted. There is sorrow on the sea. It cannot be quiet. And we know there's been a lot of activity in the sea surrounding Syria in the last 2.5 years. A lot of disturbances. Okay, Damascus is waxed feeble and turneth herself to flee. And we know that over I forgot how many, close to 1 million people in Syria have left the country. And out of Damascus itself, it's about 500,000 people. Unbelievable. It is definitely, this is true. Damascus is waxed feeble, weak, and people are fleeing the city. And fear has seized on her. This is true as well. Anguish and sorrows have taken her. Absolutely, that is true. As many people have been murdered. As a woman in travail, there is sorrow there. Also, how is the city of praise not left? The city of my joy. Therefore, her young men shall fall in her streets. We know that's been happening. And all the men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord of hosts. Well, we know there's been some changing of hands of some of these suburbs of Damascus, where Assad regime would take over and cut off the Syrians. And then maybe a few weeks later, the Syrians will come back, the rebels with the Muslim Brotherhood and Al-Qaeda even helping, funded by the Obama administration here in America, and they would overtake a suburb and take it back from Assad. This has been going back and forth. So therefore her young men shall fall in her streets, and all the men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord of hosts. And I will kindle a fire in the wall of Damascus. Or in other words, I will allow the war to penetrate the perimeters of the safety zone in the heart of Damascus. And there shall be fire in the wall or perimeter. And we've already seen it. Assad's brother-in-law is dead. He died. Several of his key cabinet members and government officials dead. And here today, the fire is inside the wall again of the heart of Damascus, as Assad's motorcade apparently has been hit or very close. And while Assad was praying in a mosque. I'm Pastor Paul Begley. We'll keep an eye on this developing story. Something biblical is going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ. And let me say to you that aren't saved, you need to take 3 steps back and look at the world events and realize that we're living in perilous times, and men are literally afraid for their lives in these last days. The sun is about to flip. What's amazing about that, the sun is about to flip its poles, which it does approximately every 11 years, but it's going to do it during the time that the comet Ison is going by, according to NASA. And Ison will then light up brighter than any star in the sky. It will even illuminate brighter than the moon. You'll even be able to see it during the daytime, bringing with it comet dust, meteorites, asteroids, and some other things that will illuminate the clouds. So we've got signs in the sun. This is Luke chapter 21, verse 25. There shall be signs in the sun and in the moon. We're getting ready to go into a 4 blood moon cycle in the spring, starting on Passover of 2014. There shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and distress of nations with perplexity and confusion, and the sea and the waves roaring, and men's hearts failing them for fear of things coming upon the earth. But even though you see all these things coming to pass, he said, lift up your heads, look up, for your redemption draweth nigh. For you shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with power and great glory. And one scripture says, for the heavens shall be shaken. Are you saved? Give your life to Jesus Christ. I'll be right back.